Hello everyone, my name is Mini Dwivedi Gopinathan. I'm the founder of PlayStreet, Bangalore, India. I'm an RDI consultant, OPT and feeding therapist, and AAC program creator, and an access bus facilitator. PlayStreet is an organization that provides educational services to help the child with special needs become independent and live up to their potential. We offer parent empowerment programs and integrated schooling programs and a variety of clinical services. As April is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, we wanted to bring to you the pioneers in the field of autism to guide us all and spread more awareness and knowledge. Today is our 10th talk, and our fantastic speakers for today are Tito Mukhopadhyay and Soma Mukhopadhyay. Soma is the creator of rapid prompting method. She developed RPM to help her son Tito to help him to communicate. She is currently the executive director of education for Halo RPM, that is helping autism through learning and outreach in Austin, Texas. Tito is a lovely young man now, as you all can see. He grew up in India during the times when individuals with autism were not understood and believed much. They didn't have options at that time to share their views to the world. He is the author of many books, The Mind Tree, The Gold of the Sunbeams, How Can I Talk If My Lips Don't Move? Tito wrote The Mind Tree between the ages of 8 and 11. And I would say that it is the best book ever written by anyone under the age 12. I can't describe just how sophisticated and writerly it is. I recommend Tito's books to everyone in my circle, and those are my favorite gifts, by the way. Everybody on their birthdays, I try to give one book of Tito. Today we are going to talk about how Tito's experiences with mind-body disconnect and how it led to create RPM. So let's talk to Tito first. How are you doing, Tito? Would you like to say a word to our audience? Tito says, I'm honored to be able to give my words. Thank you for the invite. Tito, it's our pleasure that you accepted the invitation. Tito writes, in order to do this connection, mother created a sensory curriculum for me. That helped me to organize my body better. Okay, So, Tito, my first question is connected to this. In your book, you mentioned that although you knew what to do, but you couldn't get your body to listen. Could you share your experiences with the parents of what that feels like? As most of the children are not able to narrate it the way you can. So, can you help the parents to understand that when your body doesn't listen to your mind, how does it feel?
Sure.
That was because all the senses worked at random and body or world was a chaos. In one of the books, you mentioned how difficult speech was for you. I remember that it was quoted that how Soma used to pat your back.
He said, I can talk now. I can talk now. See, so the thing is that the speech is still staccato, but it gets better with a kind of a practice like that, a reading practice.
Okay.
Like you read and then slowly the words start. So it's not exactly a speech therapy kind of a thing, but it's more like a reading practice that gets better. I am talking everything more. So it's kind of a still staccato, everything like every word, but then still it sorts of it assembles over time.
That is really a great information, and now it is coming from you who has made that journey. Because I remember, Soma, in the book that how you were finding so many different ways, right? And I remember one method especially, you used to tap on his back and words used to come. So those are like my imprints of, I read the book when my son was small.
Yeah, see what happened is, see when we speak, we breathe out.
Right.
So first we had to teach him to breathe out and pull away. And when as you breathe out, because you can't talk when you are breathing in. And so I had to teach him that every time he touched a letter, so you can see it on my website. Some of the examples I send you the some of the links over there where children who are non-verbal are starting to talk.
Okay.
So it is about a kind of a breathing discipline, and which also assembles with the movement.
Okay. So my question here is, Tito, that as you mentioned, the speech was difficult, and Soma is also sharing the reason for that. You know what happens? Parents seem to think that if speech develops, everything is going to be okay. So focus on speech is so high, and they judge the children's abilities by the abilities of speech child is having. So child is judged on the lack of verbal output. So I would like your opinion about speech. Tito says it is a discipline. The Wernicke and Broca areas are in different hemisphere than the speech producing area. Okay. So
Yes,
what would you?
So the Wernicke area and the Broca area, which are the language area, they are on the left side of the brain.
Right.
And the speech producing area, they are on the right side of the brain. So
Yes.
the message has to pass through the corpus callosum, which separates the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. And then sometimes the message, because of the delaying message producing or something, the different kind of a networking, it goes in a different area and the speech is lost.
So would you like to tell the parents that even if your children are not speaking, don't underestimate their thoughts?
So you don't give up on speech. I have seen that even speech happened even with a 50-year-old person. Okay. Because I have seen that speech is more like a outgrowth of it's more like the outgrowth of motor response, because you get the motor response, purposeful motor movements, correct, and speech happens. See, I'm seeing even handwriting is a kind of a motor development. Right. So the random movements over there, when you start to create a kind of a networking muscle movement, children are writing.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
So that's the thing. You just have to do it externally. Like if the internal machine is not working, like pushing a car, like a car moving with its own engine versus pushing a car. So there would be a little difference.
Right, yes. That didn't restrict, that didn't limit you, right?
Okay, he sent something. Can you see it?
Yeah. I see writing as a discipline towards self-improvement. Okay. So another aspect that parents are always wanting is to fix, or they get worried about, is stimming. Could you tell us how important it is for the parents to let their children stim?
Sure.
Was necessary for me. So what Tito is saying, that stimming was necessary for him. So that is the message, that stimming is not something we should fix. It is necessary for our children. So Tito, what was the most difficult part of your journey which you would like parents to know so that their children do not have to go through the same? Or do you feel that it is just part of the journey and something the parent and child need to get through? Yeah, yes, you can see I'm still shaking. Yes. So, Tito, is it stimming, or you want to convey or communicate something? Has written, I don't see any hurdle while growing up, which was not essential from this point of life. Okay. Tito has written, even the doubt from some. So he does not see it as a hurdle anymore.
Wait, yeah, he's continuing the sentence, I think. Wait, one second.
Yes. So I will read the whole sentence again once he has typed.
Okay, now the sentence is complete.
Okay, so now I will read the complete sentence. So my question was, what was this difficult part of your journey? So I don't see any hurdle while growing up, which was not essential from this point of life, even the doubt from some. One was important because it helped me to understand how world sees things. That's such a beautiful thought, Tito. So what do you feel a parent should first do when their child gets diagnosed with autism? Everyone is different. But Tito has written that everyone is different. My telling a parent will not change her or his view. Okay. Are you writing something? Are you?
No, he's not writing.
Okay.
You hear whenever he has to type, you'd hear the ticking sound, typing sound, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Tito, shall I move to the next question? Okay. How would you describe autism now from your point of view? We are not talking about the clinical definitions, but more from your experiences. Tito says, it is a journey through an entangled sensory experience. One needs to comb out the knots. To use beautiful language constructs. Combing out the knots, such a beautiful usage. I like sentences. So do I. I like poetry, you know, I really like poetry. That's the reason I enjoy reading your books, your thoughts. So much of imagination in it, so much. So now I would like to ask a few questions from Soma also. And
yes.
Yes. So, but Tito, you please be here. I hope Tito will stay here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes. Soma, how did it change you as an individual, walking this path of raising a child and now an adult with autism?
You know, I don't think about it so much. I'm not a philosopher, but I just,
Yes.
I just look at this everything as a learning experience because, like, not just from Tito, every day I learn, like, what's the next thing? What I'm going to do now? And it's like, what am I going to do today? So once I had heard a little thing over here in National Geographic program from a bushman. So they asked a bushman that, why are you over here? What is your philosophical view? And the bushman said, why to be the best bushman? So for me, it is to be the best Soma. Every day I wake up to be the best self. So every day you become your best self, and then you grow your experiences. Now as a teacher to Tito, and then as a teacher to other children, and then you just think about it.
Yes. So what part has Tito played in this journey of becoming the best Soma?
Well, every day, like every day I'm trying to be my best. Okay, so the thing is that I look at little problems. Okay, here he's having a problem. Okay, which sense is more important? Okay, these are the, so I have to use this kind of a sense in order to tackle that sense, and then help him outcome. And as he said, that combing out, because so the hair gets knotted and you just have to comb it out.
Yes, as he says, it is a journey through an entangled sensory experience.
Yes, to comb everything, because life becomes easier. But see, autism shouldn't be a problem at all. The orchestra that comes with autism, that becomes a problem. And the orchestra comes because of the sensory, like the student is in the sensory jargon over here.
Yes. So yes, their sensory system, their sensory perceptions, and their world is very different. The way they see the world, right?
The thing is that say in like in RPM, what we have is we have the learning channels. Okay, because everything is learning. See, there are many. We have information learning. Okay, so using his information, Tito is constructing the sentences. Yeah, let's finish this. Now, using his, like you can see information, he's constructing a good sentence because he knows the grammar and other things, syntax and other things. Okay, then you have sensory learning, which is very important.
Okay.
Then you have like navigating in the environment, because you have to navigate your body, experience your body, and then experience the internal environment and the external environment. So to do all these different things, you need, so if you look at vision, So you have the selective vision. So a student is only looking at his selective visual target. You have generalized vision, that is like me and you, and maybe Temple Grandin. She has generalized vision. Okay, so she can navigate a visual world. Then you have global vision where the student cannot even, because the eyes have the ciliary muscles, and you have to, so if you have to look over here, you can look over here, you have to look over here, but then these muscles are not working. So the student's eyes are going random. So sometimes it is looking over there, sometimes it is looking, and then look at, so then you have in the vision, you have the depth. If a student is holding his iPad and looking at this depth, and you ask, see, look at that bird over there, he can't look at that distance. That means the eyes have to learn. So all these different things I have to observe. And based on that, I have to create a kind of a visual curriculum.
Okay.
Right. So not just, so the teacher is showing, okay, look at this, so I can't do it. See, everything is movement. Even eyes are movement. Right. Okay. Now, auditory. You have generalized auditory. So generalized auditory means I can eliminate all the rest of the auditory things and focus on my language, focus on what you are telling, focus on whatever is going on. Now, I have global auditory. So for example, when I'm for example, when I'm like auditorily tired, the TV is on and it's just like a quack, 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 quack sound. Right, that's the global auditory. And then I have selective auditory. Out of all the sounds, I heard a particular thing over here which triggered me. So someone said McDonald's and it suddenly triggered me. Or I am listening to my selective songs and I'm not listening to anything else. Right, and I'm thinking about it. See, so that is selective auditory. Then, see, so you have, so, but in order to exist, we have to have generalized auditory. Otherwise, you won't be able to navigate the auditory world. Right, so for any sound which is sort of auditorily, I'm not habitual to, I'm going to cover my ears. Right, but the world is going to talk, and this is a noisy world. You have to be in that.
Right.
So that headphone is not the solution. Okay, and then we have the you can say we have the tactile world. Now you have generalized tactile. I can wear any clothes. Right. I can wear any shoes. I can go anywhere like that, because even the temperature. See, skin. Then I would have the pain sensitivity, because I had to teach Tito how to have pain sensitivity, because he wouldn't report me where it is. So I had to create a tactile program. About today, it is our arm day. I'm going to touch, you're not going to look, and you're going to tell where I touched. So with the pencil, back of the pencil. So you have to create a kind of a tactile sensitivity and a tactile curriculum for that.
Right.
See, it's not just sitting there and telling, see, that is just one learning, information learning, and a language is coming out. And an idealistic language is coming out. But then the mind doesn't even understand the body, and so the mind doesn't even register the pain. So you need to register the pain. And then you have the kinesthetic world, because this world is going to move around you. Right. And so now if you are moving and the world is moving, and sometimes like relativity of all the movement, your movement is becoming very different. See, so movement is the assembling of the senses. So if the senses are at random, the movement will also be random.
Yes.
And so you assemble, just like you are teaching history, geography, and all these different things to an autistic person. For an autistic person, there needs to be a sensory curriculum. Otherwise, you won't be able to adapt to this world. So your world would be more limited. So you can have this grand language and this grand idea that everyone is going to accept me, everyone is going to love me, the world should do this, okay, world should do this, world should do that. Now, here's the thing. The world should do many things. World should talk say the truth. World should, but how prepared are you with the world? See, So it's not about what the world should do. Everything, if the world should do, and I'm just going to sit over there with a long list of complaints, I need this, I need that, then it's not going to work. What are you going to do to fit yourself in this world? Because world is too big, you have to fit in, and you have to find a way to fit in. So in order to fit in this sensory world, information is not enough. You have to have sensory learning. You have to have a kind of a sensory, you can say, experience. Because without experience, see, many times people grow a bubble. Oh no, he can't do this. He can. So there would be a bubble of food. He can't eat this. He can't eat that. He can't eat. So he's missing on a big part of what the world is eating. See, so it is not about how the world is going to react to you. How you are reacting to the world is more important. And that's why all these advocacies and all kinds of things, advocacy is nothing but complaining. I've seen these autism advocacy. No one does this. No one trusts me. No one does this. It's just a laundry list of complaining. And who is getting miserable? You are getting miserable.
Yes.
At the same, so we have to accept the fact that we are all different.
Yes.
There are sensory different people. Now, how are we going to like help them include themselves in this world? And so this whole RPM program is, of course, navigating the letterboard, and then navigating the environment based on the letterboard. So I can find letter A on the letterboard. Now, can I find the key over there? Because that requires a depth, my vision to not only see the letterboard and spell, but my vision to adapt to that depth, find the key and aim for the key. Right, so this is not just a language world. Language world, yes, but we don't live on a letterboard. So the whole goal of RPM is to create this kind of a, I have books written on sensory curriculum over there. So academic curriculum, sensory curriculum, these, when you do that, you see the student is going to better adapt, and you can take the student anywhere. Yeah, otherwise I'll have all this incredible mind, incredible idea, an idealistic world, but this is not an idealistic world.
Not, of course not, yes. And I mean that even the children or the people with typical brains have their own share of difficulties.
Yes. And so you have, yeah.
So our children, those are having sensory difficulties, yes. Their difficulties are multifold because of that.
Yeah, they have multiple difficulties. So I'll show you. Maybe I'll show you some things over here. So for example, a student. Okay. So let me. So now you tell me. So anything about art? Okay. Anything about art. So he's learning how to write.
Right.
T8, okay. IS, it is. Okay. D, I, F, I, C, U, L. So you can see that. So you can see that pairing up, as the student points, pairing up speech with that. So you see apraxia. So you can't say, okay, he has apraxia. Okay, now what are you going to do about it? See, so my goal as a teacher of RPM is to create the pathway. I'm not a talker. I'm not even going to tell, do this, these autistic children are that, they are very smart and all those things. First I have to engineer a student's sensory system itself so that to assemble the kinesthetic pointing along with the auditory speech. So there we are assembling the kinesthetic and auditory. So from a non-verbal student who is non-verbal like this, speech starts emerging, right? Okay, now then you see it comes to a certain point where the student won't even need the letterboard. So first you will need the visual prompt of the letterboard, that is by rapid prompting method. What is the letterboard? Letterboard is nothing but the visual prompt to initiate a response, right? Without the letterboard in the beginning, nothing happens. Then there are processes, stages in which the letterboard
Action, take. Like that. Okay, camera, action, take. Okay. Construct a sentence word sky, then T, then H, then E, then S, then K, and then Y.
See,
The sky. Then
so you are still spelling,
was. Okay,
but then this is the stage where in the speech, because in RPM we have a speech program also.
Okay.
First we have navigating over, because speech is an output, and then in the speech, then slowly the letterboard goes away and the speech comes. Otherwise, what would happen is you'll be so stuck to the letterboard, and then without a communication partner, whatever they are calling it, you can't do anything.
Right. Yes.
So you don't want a kind of a symbiosis, right? Right. So, see, Tito, do you want any kind of symbiosis? And no. I spell it W-A-N-T. I want to talk. T-A-L-K, talk. See, so then you don't need a letterboard at all. Then you can self-dictate yourself and type. Then no one has to sit over there and prompt. See, so you, in the beginning, you have maximum prompt, where letterboard itself is a prompt, visual prompt to initiate. And then after that, you don't even need the prompt. And then you have the distant RPM programs where you see, then as a teacher, I don't have access to letterboard. Where, so now you are going to make the sentence with the word prepare. So that if from the poem, somewhere someone be prepared for a rage. So prepare. P-R-E-P-A-R-E. Make a sentence. Okay. Say it. Come on. Say it. T. Okay. My turn H. Your turn E. The. Okay. Then P. Okay. My turn would be something different. Okay. L. Your turn. A. Okay. So you see that then you don't need a teacher to be present over there and a communication partner to be there. So slowly the students' independence start, because in RPM, it begins with a letterboard, but then it goes beyond, it goes to writing, it goes to speech, it goes to body control, it goes to hobby development and all kinds of different things.
Okay.
See? So RPM is a kind of a sensory kind of, see, you have sensory integration program, so I don't see sensory integration program happens in a room, but I realized a child does not live on a ball bath. See, they have ball bath, the child feels good. I don't live in a ball bath. I live in a world which is sort of different kind. There would be wind blowing from this side. There would be, sometimes the temperature would be hot, sometimes. So I have to create a kind of a program around what is natural than an unnatural thing like ball bath. You like swim, you like brushing. I'm not going to brush Tito all day. So when people are brushing, that's fine. But then, okay, I can understand. So here I'm looking at the practicality, what the reality is. And I'm going to create more and more of a reality kind of a situation, because the world is real and the world is not a therapy room.
That's true. Yes. So, Soma, you start from the letterboard directly. See, because RPM is definitely different, but say PECs, if I compare it to PECs, their pictures are also involved for communication. So is there any phase where some pictures, so the communication starts with picture and then it starts moving to letters?
No, I start with language. I start with language. So PECs I don't use. Because how will I teach evaporation? How will I teach the science of rain? I can say it is rain. Huh? Yeah, you can go. Okay. Yeah, you can go over there and read something. See, so wait, let me turn this. This window is glaring. Okay. See, so over here, here's the thing with PECs. How will I teach? So I can say I want this equals I get it. These are dead end. It's not taken to any language. But now, how would I explain a poetry like? How would I explain a poetry using PECs? How would I go with beyond a cognitive goal, other than I need?
So my question is there any phase of PECs also somewhere in RPM, or no, it's not there at all?
No,
I mean,
no,
just-
I start
Just
with
a
words.
small phase, no.
Words. I would say, see, it is raining. We are going to spell rain. And now
Okay.
we are going to see why it is raining. See, when water, W-A-T-E-R, water, you spell water. When water becomes dry, D-R-Y, dry, this is how we spell. We go directly to language because world is not going to talk in pictures.
Okay. See, but say if our children, those who are, say,
They can say,
they think in pictures, right? So,
oh yeah, just because one person thinks in pictures, I can't think in pictures. Just because a visual person will think in pictures, they are going to look at this like that. But some people won't think in pictures.
you're right, yeah.
Because you can't overgeneralize just because one person thinks in pictures and wrote, and then you have these pictures. How many? And so what a picture will do is, a picture will not tell how to enjoy a poetry. Suppose I want to enjoy a line like moon grown thin like a quilt. Okay, now how will I I describe it with the picture?
No, we can't describe it with the picture. Pictures,
Yeah.
the purpose of pictures is just to communicate needs and wants or something. Yeah.
So I want this. Okay, now at the middle of the night, so with that, so at the middle of the night, someone wakes me up and says, I want French fries, please. Am I going to go? Is how practical is that?
No, it is not. I mean, it depends. In certain situations, it works. In certain situations, it will not work. So it might not be a very generalized solution.
And then you see this thick PECS book. I've seen this. I've seen this thick PECS book, and the student is just selecting swimming pool or the switch, whatever the student is sort of tactile habit is. So tactile or whatever is familiar, the student is selecting that. They are not selecting all the pictures.
Okay, right.
And then they get distressed when it is not met, because they are already requested, and as per the rule, I request equals I get it. No, how will you teach using PECS that all that you request you may not get?
And then the whole idea of communication is defeated, right? You're communicating something and I'm not giving it to you. What's the point of communication, right?
I know. See, so that's the thing. That's why we directly go to the language. We talk in language. We surround the student in language, so that because the world is talking in language.
Have you come across a child who might be severely, who might be facing severe difficulties with language, and the language processing itself is affected? Then how do you modify?
It never happened. See, it never happened. Look, see, for example, this is a new student who is 4-year-old. So here I'm teaching the student where.
Okay.
See?
That is the shape of W.
See, I'm teaching the shape of W.
Okay.
So he's walking, I'm creating a language.
Rolling. R for rolling. Look at that. Rolling. Now, what is the ball doing? Bouncing. What is rolling?
So you create a language, because anything, so that's exactly what I did with Tito. So anything that Tito did or saw, I created a language. What is this? What are you doing? You create a language so that it is not an idle waste of energy. So even when he waved his arm like this, I said, you are waving your arm. So what are you waving? So that every action over here has a kind of a language goal. And the action doesn't become a kind of an idle waste of energy.
Soma, the question here I have is that how many times will you do that? Say for the same construct. Say for example, say Tito is waving his arm. So would you do it just one time, or say 10, 20, 30 times?
No, just once, because he's going to wave his arm again. Okay. Whatever he does, then he begins to expect, then it becomes that he begins to accept that he becomes more aware that, oh, okay, I'll do this, and she's going to language it. So when he was little, when I was not working, of course, there was a point then I didn't even know that there would be RPM. Right now it is RPM. Now it is sort of like a big thing. But then I had only Tito to work through. And what I did was I language assembled, because I realized that I'm not going to let any kind of a action becomes waste. I'm going to use that, how to use that energy towards this energy and recycle it as a language, so that he gets into the habit of being aware. I am doing this. Right. So it is more like a discipline.
The discipline, yes. And I think also getting awareness of his motor acts and translating those motor acts to the language. Right.
Yes,
So, and
yes,
then, and that's
yes.
how language also keeps building, and awareness to motor and movement.
Yeah. See, so now when I suppose I'm cooking, see now I don't need letterboard, right? So suppose I'm cooking and Tito is sitting over there, and then I'm having a kind of a dialogue with him.
Okay, Tito will make some sentences. So my sentence is, while the sun was setting, it grew quiet. Your turn.
At
Spell it.
A in T
And
ta
the. Okay. Then
T
C
A
R
E
E
P
P
ya
U
H
S
T
C
ya
U
A
L
E
A
A
I. And the crepuscular. Say crepuscular.
See, so you don't need a speech therapy when you're doing a speech using RPM.
Right.
See, people have all these speech therapy and all kinds of, and then they say, today he said la. Okay, today he said la. Will he say la tomorrow when it is necessary? Just saying la once in a while, and they do all that, putting a spoon over there and all that drama you don't need. Just assemble the senses. Speech is going to be the byproduct.
Okay.
It has happened because, speech is a product of movement.
Right.
Because when I'm talking, something is moving.
Yes. But so much gross movement and fine movement. See, speech is a very fine movement. So do you think
you assemble those things, this is going to work.
Okay. And same is with writing, right? Because writing is also finest of the movements.
Yeah, see, you worked on those, everything. It's like all the building block pieces are all scattered. You start building, and then slowly you're going to do the fine engine part, fine tuning. It happens because that's how the brain connects. You don't have to do it separately. Now speech, now gross movement, all those terms, I don't know. I just know one thing: you assemble these senses, you create a sensory curriculum, create a natural environment, see what the world is doing. The world is doing this, we are going to do this. And you can do it outside the therapy room also. Like that.
So now the next question which is coming to my mind. So I'm not going with the question list at all now. So you are leading the conversation now. because you have already given me so much information. Now these questions don't make any sense.
I have 11 sessions a day.
Yes, I can understand. Yes.
So then you can say, and then in the evenings I have I consult with people like outside, like Australia and other places. Now, so my experience is a little different, right?
Right. Yes. Yes. Now you are leading the conversation. So I'm just trying to take some threads from your conversations, and I'm just trying to connect to my understanding and just going ahead with that. So initiation of communication, or so where do you see, when does it start coming with RPM, where child himself is motivated and
it comes, I've seen it with Tito, like it comes once you understand the process, the hesitation goes away. See, now initiation comes. Okay, so if you look at initiation, there are different, I'm looking at speech as a motor movement. Okay, whatever, communication, everything is a motor. Output of everything is, every input is motor movement. So I'm looking at this as, so what happens is when the assembling happens, otherwise initiation happens with impulsive movements. When suddenly I want something, impulsive movements. I'm just getting that. It happens with OCD movements.
Okay.
It happens with stim movements. But then this is the purposeful movement. That requires a different cortical reasoning and cortical planning. And then the initiation is going to happen once that cortical planning becomes a kind of a motor pathway.
Yes. This is something which we are also believing in, and we are also trying to replace the non-constructive movements with more purposeful movements. So trying
I just don't use those words. Yeah, I don't use those words. I just say that, it's a kind of a random process. More you practice, you get better at it, you're going to do it.
Yes. So one question which I have is, one second. So
Yeah, what was
let
your question?
me just read it, Soma, because I don't know whether it has already been answered, but let me just see, because so generally we have seen that children are taught ABC and 1, 2, 3 for a long time. So reason being, they are not talking, they are not expressing. So we are not able to believe in them that they already know it, and we keep on doing the same thing again and again for years. For years we just work on ABCD, right?
Yeah, no. You start like that. You start. Today we are going to go to run. So let's spell run. R, a sound, n sound. Just start from there. You don't have to go to ABCD. Whoever organized ABCD like that may have organized it, but it's not making any sense. Okay. What is the point of reciting ABCD? Now we are going to spell numbers. When I say 58, we touch 5 first, 8 then. After that, 85, first we touch 8, then we touch 5. And go from there.
This is the big advantage I see here, that because I see for years children keep on learning ABC, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but you are integrating it every day with the acts. Yeah, every day, and they just don't get stuck there, and they just keep on moving on an everyday basis.
Yeah. See, that's why when people go for other therapy, I don't care. I know that those therapies are going to stop, and they are going to come to RPM anyway. I've seen after 20 years and all kinds of things, then people start coming to RPM because they're going to come to RPM anyway. So I don't quite care. Do all your dancing. No, so if ask me.
One question that is coming to my mind is that how did you figure out that the spelling that communication through spelling, that spell to communicate, how that idea came to your mind? You are saying you are using spelling so much, right?
Oh yeah, you have to start spelling because it's easy. It's just navigating the letterboard. I didn't look at spelling. See, I don't put emotions in my work. Okay. See, some people are doing it for emotion. They want to do good. They want to serve things. I'm doing this to better myself. Just as I'm teaching a student a kind of a goal, that student is teaching me patience. People don't. They don't like how patient is this person who is not understood by this world, and still he's smiling, still he's finding happiness over there. What am I going to learn? And I have a laundry list of complaints. I have to complain about the government. I have to complain about this. I have to complain despite my all these advantages. So it's not just, it's a two-way thing. I'm looking at it at what am I learning from that person? Because this life, we are all, this life is a school for our souls. We all learn from each other. So just as I'm teaching this person navigating on the letterboard and spelling, that person is teaching me something. Right. So it is a kind of a two-way. So it didn't even occur. I knew that I sort of knew that this, I have to do it. I didn't think about the science and all those things. I'm from inorganic chemistry background.
I know that. I have read the books, so I know that.
that kind of a thing. But yeah, so ask me more questions. Whatever is left.
Say, I'm actually not asking the questions from my list anymore. So I'm just going with the flow. So Soma,
yeah, see, people see, no, people from like my students are in their 50s, in their 60s.
I saw these
Okay.
videos. Yes, yeah.
I know. See, they are in their 50s, they are in their 60s, because I know that they are going to come to RPM anyway.
So,
Yeah, repeat.
so how do I translate this RPM methodology to say other languages? Say, for example, in our country, India, not everybody will know
Yeah.
English.
Now, for
So,
example,
any
India.
suggestion you have for that?
No. You can do that. No, for example, in Bengali, my mother tongue is Bengali, and if I have to talk to Tito in Bengali, so you can spell Ami means I-A-M-I. And if you have to spell rice or bhat, B-H-A-T, you can do this with all these 26 letters.
I'm trying to speak in Hindi because the whole matras and all becomes very difficult, and someone who does not know English at all.
No, you can do that with everything. You can do everything over there.
Okay.
Suppose I say Ami Jol, J-O-L, Jol, and Khabo, K-H-A-B-O. There you go.
Have you tried it? Have you tried using RPM in other languages?
Oh, of course. So many people are using the Japanese. They are adapting it to their Japanese language. Mexico. See, I have people, students from Japan, from Mexico. They do it in their Japanese, strict in their language. They are not going to teach anything other than Japanese.
Okay.
So is Mexico. Then in Brazil, there's a big RPM group in Brazil. They are doing it in Portuguese.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's nothing, but then the whole adaptation is you assemble it and you have to grow, because see, RPM doesn't have a kind of a skill plateau. Okay, I'm spelling, I'm so great. Not like that. There's no skill plateau over there. So here, like, okay, you did this, achieve this, let's go to the next goal. Next, go to the next skill goal. Because self-improvement is something. When the self-improvement, when you stop working on your body, you are done.
So again, I'm again coming back to mind-body disconnect. And so there's an RPM board, and my child's body does not listen to his mind, and child wants to touch A, but he's touching, say, B, or the letter next to it. Because I have seen it a lot.
Yes.
Children, so how do you address it?
So what you do is you put a tactile, like a little sellotape over there, tactile marker. So for that, we have a tactile marker. We put the sellotape over there on that where he is trying to reach. And that tactile marker is going to create like a kind of a additional from the visual plus tactile. Now touch that. I put a tactile marker over there.
So, Ma, when I was doing my special education course from KPMRC, and yeah, you know, Dr. Veronica Matthias, right? Tito has written about her also in her book. I've seen, and under her, I did my course long back now, right? And when I was doing my course, I saw some of your videos, and you know, there what I saw was some technique he was using where he used to take paper strips and then suddenly used to tear them. What was that?
Yes,
now I don't see it anymore.
Yes, no, sometimes I need it, but nowadays parents are coming to me doing that homework anyway. So I would tear it up and then show the two choices, because see, first you start with two choices because that creates a reasoning skill. Should I select this or that? Okay, it's to create the reasoning skill. See, there are many types of learning. One is rote learning. One is reasoning learning. I don't know why that rainbow is coming. Never mind. So this reasoning and all kinds of different skills. So it starts, then goes to 26 letter choices when you are spelling.
So now I think I'm able to connect it all. So, Soma, how can parents learn RPM in India?
We can do a course. Okay. My books are there, but I usually do the training. Many parents did the RPM training in India. Like I'll have the next training in May. They did it, but then So
is it online or is it face to face? Online or face to face?
No, through Zoom. Through Zoom. But it is Texas time. So what they did was, because it is Texas time, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. What they did was I allowed them to record it. So they can record it on Zoom, and then they can go to sleep, and next day they can see it.
And RPM boards, those boards which children can carry and.
Oh yeah.
Those I have
We
not.
have.
Are they available in India?
No,
I have not seen them in India.
You can make it. You can go to a plastic company and make it. I get it done. See, I get it done from a dad who lost his job. He lost his job, and now he's making boards full time for us, and he is making some income out of that. So we buy from him, and then we distribute, we sell it.
Okay.
See, because Halo is a non-profit organization.
Right.
And so what we do is, it's not about a profit kind of a thing. So what we do is we buy from him and then we sell it.
Okay. So my last question, I do not know where does this question fit into this team of RPM. So, but I want to end it with this question. So, and let's just see how it goes. Okay. What advice?
Yeah, it will go well.
Yeah, yes. What advice would you give parents who get lost into the doing of the programs? They just doing things. And should parents be more aware and understand how to be with their child and integrate the effects of program into the functional life for more independent thinking?
Okay, now, do I look like someone who is going to preach? That's a preacher's question, you know. I won't give any advice.
Okay.
If you have to experience grief, you have to experience and you have to get it out, because no one will teach you how to deal with grief. See, the dumbest thing when people say that please don't be sad. How can you unsad yourself? You will go through sorrow. You will go through anxiety. Go through it. As Winston Churchill had said, if you are going through hell, keep going. Because you can't go around, you can't escape it. It is going to catch up with you. So every person, that grief, that thing over there, I won't say don't get anxious, don't do that, because that's the very dumb thing to say. I would just say that keep going. If grief is what you have to experience, your soul has to experience, you have to experience. If anxiety is what you have to experience, because those things make you stronger. Advice doesn't make you stronger.
I think that's a very important message, that don't hide yourself behind those emotions, face them, and just keep going, keep moving on.
And accept this.
Yes.
Now we are done?
Yes. And we are at the end of the program.
Okay, I'll let you go. Okay, bye. Bye.
Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.